Hello, and this one's called Being a Mountain from the Chronicles of a Cosmic Space Case, the book 2, Early Escapades. Kevin Smith says that being a mountain, very short story, laying on my bed and getting into a state of awareness, I suddenly had the impression of a mountain range forming in front of me. It was growing in size, and as I watched the mountain continue to expand, I became a part of it then. I became the mountain. I experienced a very delightful, expansive feeling, experiencing the viewpoint from a mountain's perspective. On the mountain also was the guide for Bequance. And the DUANE's view of this is the following. This book of the Cosmic Escapades is written in this style, where the writer's story or vision or dream are recorded, and then DUANE had a view that was shared. And this view is that when many people see a mountain, they have the want to climb it and see what it's like to be up there. As kids, we would naturally want the adventure and climb things. The mountain represents a bigger view. This is where you become the view. Like the mountain, you are the bigger view, imagining yourself as a mountain, and now you're looking down upon the flat plains or civilizations. You're over all of it now. You're not just one little viewpoint in the crowd, like being on top of a tall building or an airplane. You have this big view and you don't equate it to anything. And I would say this is a good exercise or point of view to take right now. See yourself as the mountain looking back down. I'm fortunate here to see that there's a mountain right in front of my view. And I have a picture for a short video that we could transfer over and show what it looks like from here. And in front of the mountain in the park here is the sign on the tree, on the palm tree, that says NU, new. And it's really a nice view all the way around. So ending up, DUANE says, yes, you're high up. You see this. It's about seeing. It's your real awareness. It's seeing something else. When you see from a high vantage point, you have this position of seeing something else that you don't usually see, more so than what you usually are seeing. It sounds confusing, but this is where you subtly separate that view, the real you, from the situations in creation. But you do it right where you are. It's all about a view, or being the view itself. I'm reminded of an exercise or idea that's similar in my own view, was of going to the sun, turning around and looking back down, as just was described, where he says, experiencing the viewpoint, this is where you become the view, and you are the bigger view, as like the mountain. And now you're looking down upon the flat plains or the civilizations, and you're all of it now. And the sun shining, another reference point. And our reference points are important. But the reference point is not the picture, and it's not the real thing. That's a very important difference. So I was thinking that going shopping or at the store, and you're seeing all the people, and you're looking at people as you think they are, or ideas that you have of them, or just your observation of clothing and style and character a little bit, or what have you, and the things that you see, same thing. but what's really behind all that or with all that? And part of that is to reference, well, why are they going this way or that way? And what are they looking for? Or any of these other reference views that we get in our visions. And the vision could change instantly with, say, a person said something, and then they were referencing something. And of course, that means that we're now going to include more in our reference. And let's say that's the same. Dwayne and Kevin and Val or whoever is sharing a story and a viewpoint. And or they're expanding when we expand our own viewpoints. I was thinking of relating this to the hiking group that we have established or called the New Sunrise Trail. And here, Val has landscaped the properties and area so beautifully, and it's spectacular, actually. I think I posted one of the videos from here. I'm not sure, or Val did. The one I kind of walked around a little bit and tried to get some of the picture and views. But yes, we'll relate that because you can't get the whole view through the pictures, and you can't get a video that's going to give the whole view of everything at all, but or only in some part, because what's really there is not what the view is showing, and there's also no picture can take the whole view, but our real awareness can. So it's the most valuable tool that mankind has. You want to use it instead of just go by automatic or anything else. Nothing is as it seems, and or is as it appears. So we've established, related to this, the trail, today I called it Southern Cross, the Trail of the Southern Cross, because I think that there is a trail. We are creating a trail up the mountain, and we're meeting people up the mountain and creating various networking and establishments that already exist. So we're not creating in that sense. They already exist and we're recognizing them. That's really good, I think. And it's good to recognize the people on the trail, because those people that we meet are looking for the trail, or they're on the trail, but they don't fully recognize it. That would be like, say, someone in a religion or a business or a government or any of those kinds of places, or in a established store or place of residence and so forth. So we're looking for an oasis ourselves at maybe up at the top of the mountain. We have an idea, we have a focal point, and the focus is been established. Creatively, but also that it already exists. So we're seeing it becoming recognized. We have a couple more days, and we're going to explore, hopefully and wonderfully, probably the next step and the next mountain over, so to speak. Now, these are mountains that are big, but they're not. These are hills, or you could call them mountains, but not big mountains. You can hike up most of them about 2 hours to get up from the base of them to the top, or maybe less. Okay, so the establishment of this trail here is also just a reference to the actual real trail of the new universal exploration. And although it might seem mundane to just be walking on the street or by the beach or any place, by the trees, in a park, it's always more than that. And so when we go in these, or at least I'm having experiences where everywhere I go, it's going to be a new experience, even if I'm back at the same place. And there's opportunities some days more than others. So that's the example. So this trail here in this part of the continent is lined up with a much, much greater trail that goes from actually in the shape of a Z, the letter Z, or it could be an arc. We'll say it's an arc, and it comes from way south across the Pacific in New Zealand. And that trail, the way I'm seeing it, comes up. New Zealand was the place of the movie Lord of the Rings. And 3 very long parts, 10-hour movie, fantastic story. If no one's seen it, you know, that would be one of the bigger movies to ever see. And that's the filming site for the origin point of the Universal Path and the New Sunrise Trail. Actually, New Zealand is very close to where the sun rises at the beginning of the date line, which is the beginning of the day. Anyway, up the trail, going quickly, we've come from New Zealand, we cross the ocean, and we've come to the Nueva Park here. And this is a way station to discover New UU. Established the first way station from crossing the ocean that people need to do, or it's as the way station that allows us to then go across the great ocean to the real land, the island, is land, island. That's a metaphor. It's beautiful. So just to end that is we go from New Zealand to here in Mexico, and then the trail continues into the Americas and a place called the Grand Canyon. And there's a very beautiful park, Bob National Forest, which is at the North Rim and has views of perhaps the most famous canyon in the world, and a beautiful place in the states of Colorado, Utah. And that's another way station, I think. It used to be where the people, the tribal or native peoples from Mexico or from the Americas, I don't know which, but I'm going to say the Mexicans and South Americans had gone up into America, that is North America, into America, where the states are now. This is a long, long time ago, and there's established the communities in the Western United States. And that is the history, actually. So the Mexicans were actually, or what we call the Mayans or Aztecs, more likely, did these tours, or what are you going to say? I mean, they're living here for centuries and centuries, way before supposedly anyone was here, but of course they were here long ago. And before that, I think that the aliens, the Orions, came, and that's another part of the history where they actually kind of originated mankind and used mankind as slave labor for mining purposes and all elemental extractions. And it also includes psychological so-called extractions or conditionings with mankind, and using the genetic code as well in all the ways that it can be manipulated. And that's the real old history that was here. So we're, in a way, are we exploring the old trail or establishing a new trail? Well, yes, we don't need to go explore the past, but to get the understanding that this is metaphoric of the passage of people, humanity, to move to the next level or levels and become aware of their real awareness, and or through their real awareness, the true reality life is, as these terms are new phrases, are demonstrating, and again, all the references, they're just what they are. None of it is a factual, literal perception. But to take this in hand and do what was mentioned in the story, to finish it up with that, is, it sounds confusing, but this is where you subtly separate that view, the real you, from the situations in creation. But you do it right where you are. It's all about the view. The China Date Ranch, it says explore a hiking. Well, it went to recent wanderings, but the picture is of a desert oasis with many trees. You see, explore a hiking oasis. Now they advertise it not as a camp destination, is only for because they have a ranch, a working ranch for the dates and date trees everywhere. I've been eating dates every morning for the last 3 or 4 years. I'll have a date and anyway, have kind of some certain points of health, like honey, spoonfuls of honey, and I take B vitamin liquid, which is something like what you get from, am I right, milk, yeast, and B vitamins, though, are very good for stabilizing and having a kind of strength, and also preventative. And so, and also like grapeseed, which is in wine, it's resveratrol is an extract, name for it. And for a while there, it was something that people could take without having to buy it like it's a vitamin or a pharmaceutical product. And that's what the pharmacies have done more recently, is now they're selling it in that form, and they want people to buy it in their more restricted product with less vitality. Nonetheless, some of these things, that's what we have to do, or you can do. Anyway, so the China Date Ranch is halfway between the Nueva Ranch here and the Grand Canyon North Rim. And that's halfway up the trail. You continue to the Badlands in North Dakota, where there's a statue, South Dakota, of Sitting Bull. And if you want, you can go gambling in Deadwood as well, right behind it, at one of the Indian reservation casinos. But this is like a whole hiking trail, line. you know, long trail that's really not been established directly, and or these points connected. Interesting for that. But the thing we're saying about this again, let's say China Date Ranch is establishing an oasis that people will come to for sustenance and shelter or what have you, is always been the case in the desert lands. You know, you need these things. And you could say this planet is a desert land, island with oases. And that's a way of promoting its our own, you know, we can say, yeah, come to the Nueva and discover the oasis of real life. True reality life is.
And just to end here, you're walking, I'm just considering here that walking is very indigenous, you know, before mechanized transportation, everybody was walking around here, walking around the earth. We didn't have cars or planes or trains. Everybody walked or ran. Sometimes they used horses or camels, but basically everybody walked to where they were going. So
there's a movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's funny. Yeah. That's how people got around, and it's very indigenous to our nature, you know, or used to be. And then I just posted Universal Hikers. There's a forest therapy trail in Japan where they use it for bring people on. There's a guide, and he takes you through the forest. He doesn't talk much. He may point out a few plants or trees, waterways, but basically you're just casually strolling through a forest to regain some kind of balance with the environment because we're so mechanized now and Wi-Fi'd and fried EMFs and all that. So they're doing something good over there. So this trail we're doing, the intent is to become more aware, you know, show people through walking, through seeing different viewpoints through nature, and with the intent that we have behind it to help them wake up. Should be fun, and we'll give you updates as we go along. Nice.
Waterfall.
Okay, let's sing the new you here. New you, you, you. New you, you, you. New you, you, you.
Here's the Sunrise Trail, Montanas, Puerto Nuevo with the Great Bell hiking guide, new Sunrise Trail, beautiful. Whoop, let's go back over here. Turn towards the sun. Yes,
Sun.
there it is.